Test. Here we go. Ooh, little update on OBS. Changed my settings. What's going on, Game Making Goblin? What is going on? What's going on? Let's see. I don't know if the music, you guys can hear it either. Let's fix that. Oh, there we go. There we go. What's going on, everybody? Yeah, we're gonna just jump right into it. What's going on, Keen? We're gonna jump right into the OneD&D survey. There's a lot of stuff going on. I haven't done any really content regarding OneD&D. I'm actually waiting for the classes and subclasses to kind of come out so I can get a bigger picture of like what's actually going on. But my initial thoughts, you guys can actually check out Wally DM's channel. I did a live stream with him and Jordan from Flute Salute, where I gave my opinion on what a lot of what was going on with his first playtest packet. In summary here, I liked a lot of it. A lot of it was really, really good. I'm loving the changes to backgrounds and how much more important it is for your character. But also, not only that, but how much that's going to change how we build our characters. We have a lot more freedom and creativity with background, which is awesome. And there's a lot more selections and freedom that we can actually express our characters. And while I know people are like iffy on the changes to race and stuff, I think it's still a good thing and a good direction to take the game. Obviously, we don't want to reinforce negative stereotypes and ideologies and ignorant thoughts, I guess is a way to sum it up, that make it so that not everybody wants to enjoy and play the game that we all love. And while I know people are really hung up on the taking away of the ability scores from race, you still get them in backgrounds. Like they're still going to be there. And I really think by moving those out of race and it forces wizards or anybody designing races to now not rely on simple math to convey sort of species traits. So like if orcs are considered stronger, they have to develop a trait that isn't just as simple they get +2 to strength. They need to do something like powerful build. They need to create these other traits that are a lot more interesting than simply just making them a number. They get to interact with a game that convey the same feeling without, locking you into the math, which I think is going to be a lot more fun, especially for homebrewers too, to really sit down and think about like, well, how do I convey that this species, this race, this lineage, this ancestry, whatever we're going to end up calling it, is better at doing something naturally, or they're going to have a magical quality to it too. So it's going to be interesting. It does open up design space. It does open up in terms of just players creating the characters. Backgrounds are good. Feats are no longer optional. It was supposed to be an optional role, but everybody played with them in general. So now it's like a whole other confirmation and layer they're adding to player options and choice. So yeah, it's going to be awesome. And as always, you guys got any questions or anything, I'm going to get on the OneD&D and take the survey for you guys. And hopefully you guys have taken it too. Hold on, we're going to move that out here. Okay, so would you like to rate the material presented in character origin? Yes. What was the first edition you played of D&D? I'm going to say 5th. I can't say I've played any other edition enough to be like, yeah, I played that one. I think I've done one or two one-shots of 4E, and I barely remember playing 3.5, if at all. Which of the following character options have you play tested? None of them. That's the problem. I haven't really play tested any of them, but we're satisfied, very satisfied, or satisfied with this Dragonborn are okay. I'm gonna say a little dissatisfied. I think Fizzband's Dragonborn still outshine this, and the fact that if as long as backwards compatibility is still going to be a thing by the end of all this, then I'm just going to use the Fizzbands. Dwarfs are cool. Elves are elves. Gnomes are gnomes. Halflings are cool. Orcs. Tieflings, I'm actually really liking the changes. Not so much the mechanics. I think like when you're comparing them to elves, elves kind of like make out like a bandit with the split changes that they've done. They're not really calling them sub races anymore. Elves in general have a better, I guess, magical loadout is the best way you could say it. But orcs and orcs are freaking awesome, and tieflings, I like that they are splitting the and making it so that there's more a narrative change, and then people can kind of flavor how they want their tiefling to look now a little bit more than just a red, blue, purple, yellow, whatever skinned with horns. The fact that they are now having them tied to demons and also to Yugoloths is interesting, and that opens up necessarily how tieflings can be looked and portrayed as. Yugoloths, especially since they do take on animal traits, so you can have your tiefling take on animal traits similar to an Ardling. How satisfied are you with elements of the human character options as presented in the article? I'm okay with it. Let's see, resourceful, skillful, versatile. I'm okay with all of them. Like, there's nothing wrong with them. Pretty standard. Very straightforward. But as anything with humans, there's nothing that makes them shine. In a good, like in a good or bad way. They're just the baseline. So we're gonna put that. Okay, how satisfied are you with the Ardlings presented as the article? Angelic Flight is fine. It's a nice fix to what were expected. I'm okay with all. I'm actually very satisfied with the Celestial Legacies. I think it's cool. Damage resistance is fine. It's basic. Yeah. Yeah, I love that it's very inclusive because it's playing on the ideas of other cultures, versions of celestial beings. So Aasimar are very much wrapped in Judeo-Christian, at least in their appearance, because they are pretty much angel people, if we're going to look at it. Ardlings, on the other hand, are taking more after stuff that you see like in Egyptian gods, like Japanese yokai, and also like in Aztec and Mayan mythology, like their gods had animal heads. So like it's taking more like, and it allows people to include more of those elements of stories into their games and play into that. But I think the big problem, and there's going to be a disconnect, since this is animal people, or like an animal head on a person's body, obviously can't beat around the bush, like the furry issue. Like people will have, it's like, yeah, they're just going to play furries. And for me, it's like the player expectation. You're playing, if this is the only present option to play an animal person in the game, at least from the onset, because this is going to go in the player's handbook, why doesn't it feel like an animal? I think that's the big thing. having have an animal-like appearance, but not. Yeah, that's the only thing I think that's going to be a bit of an issue, but in general, I like the Ardling. Oh, man. Dammers is just fine. Dark Vision, very satisfied. It's overdue. The Breath Weapon's an issue. Really, really is. Like, it needs to feel good. Like that's the kind of the problem with the Breath Weapon. Like, it doesn't feel good, even with the Fizzbands changes. You just don't get that sense of that power. Like, even at 5th level, I think that's when it kind of kick in, and you just kind of just see like, bam, you're gonna get that good strong Breath Weapon. So, all right, so what we're gonna do, yeah, and that's what it is. It doesn't provide the power fantasy despite being mechanically balanced. And the thing they can do is this: they can start it off as like a very weak breath weapon, and then at later levels it does scale up and feels good. So I just started with dwarfs. Hey, what's going on, Toasted Dingus? Yeah, we're getting through the OneD&D survey, and after the survey, we're gonna jump right into Luchador. Shrink this a little bit so I can actually show you guys the question being asked. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so it's gonna be interesting. Hopefully you guys can read it. Let me maybe. There we go. There we go. Okay. Dwarfs. Fine. This is a little weird, but I'm okay with it. Stone cutting is freaking awesome. Tremor sense? That's good. That's really good. So yeah, like there's really nothing I could say that really I'm really upset about the dwarf. I think Forge wise can be a little weird, and I see the critiques of like the narrative behind all of a sudden from birth you just know how to use tools. But I'm not sure if they're gonna find another way to mechanically convey that a crafting god that created your people has instilled the ability to create in you. Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Yeah. Other than that, even then, if they don't change it, I'm okay with forge wise. It's I think it's just more of a mechanical limitation. It's a very dwarf thing, so I don't really see anything really wrong with it. But yeah, I really wish there was another way to convey and give somebody maybe a little bit more open-ended, a way to feel like they are able to create, instead of just locking them into a specific tool proficiency. But it also makes sense. That's the way they're going to choose to give them that way to convey that narrative element. All right. So how satisfied are you with the element of the elf character options as presented in the article? Dark vision's fine. Drow, I'm very satisfied they got rid of the dark vision hindrance with sunlight. The sunlight sensitivity is what it was. High elves are stupid good. Wood elves are fine. Fey ancestry's fine. Keen senses. Trance, I don't have any complaints with this. In general, elves are elves. There's nothing different or like that's really stands out that makes me feel like they don't feel like elves. And high elves make out like a bandit because they get Misty Step. Get Misty Step, and then they get the cantrip still. And it starts you off with a basic cantrip that you can actually change later as you level. So which is cool, because then you could still play in high elf, and you wanted to play some sort of gish. Eventually you can pick up Booming Blade and go to town. So it's not a bad idea. High elves, I think, really do stand out, with Drow being my second favorite. Wood elves are there. They're not bad. It's just in terms of the spell list you do get, high elves were the business. I don't have any complaints for this. I don't need to add a comment. Gnomes, fine. Like nothing wrong. Separate. Yeah, this is my only complaint with the gnomes. I think there's a big enough you can make the case that forest gnomes and rock gnomes are really different from each other. So that in order to convey that difference, you can make the case you could split them. We're already seeing that with Kender when it comes to halfling. Like in Dragonlance, Kender is going to be its own, I guess, race option, separate. It's not going to be a sub race. And then we also see that in Mordekainen's Monsters of the Multiverse with the other elves. They're kind of now split off to be their own elf. And then we saw it in Spelljammer with Astro Elf. It's its own elf. It's still an elf, but it's its own elf. So yeah, I think you can make the case for gnomes to kind of get split that way too, so that you can get more tinkering features out of rock gnome, and then more fey foresty stuff for the forest gnome, instead of like one singular trait that does it. I get why they're not doing it, and then in general why they're not leaning hard into that design angle that they already introduced in Mordekainen's Monsters of the Multiverse, because this is supposed to be like an update for the player's handbook. So as presented, obviously these sub-race options are now slightly different, and they're still trying to convey them and showcase them in a similar fashion. But with this update to the edition, I think even with the other elves, just go all in. Make them separate options so you can convey differences, especially when it comes to elves too. And it's weird that dwarves are set in stone, no pun intended, but are set in stone in one way, where everything is a dwarf, and then if you want to play a certain kind of dwarf, you're gonna have to do that and convey that in your background. while elves and gnomes, you want to play a certain type of elf, you do have to pick it in your race option, and then that can be the end of it right there. What's going on, Luke? So it's interesting, like how they're picking and choosing how they're going about this. So yeah, gonna be. So I really wish. Maybe they're testing the idea of like if they can just convey a thing as one race option versus having multiple options. So who knows? Nothing to complain about here. They're doing the same thing that they did with the dwarf. There's only one set of, like, there's only one halfling, which is cool. I really like I'm more convinced to play at halfling now. I'm doing good, Luke. I'm doing good. We're just gonna get through this OneD&D survey, and then I'm gonna jump into Luchador because there is a bunch of updates on it after doing some initial playtests that I'm gonna go over, and then I'm doing another playtest tonight to really kind of stamp out some stuff. I got 2 players actually playing the Luchador tonight. We're gonna run a Radiant Citadel adventure. So, and if I have some time, I'm probably maybe do some Radiant Citadel session prep. Who knows? Again, nothing to complain. I'm just gonna leave it blank because halflings are a-okay in my book. Oh. All right. So my first character I played in D&D was a half orc because I just wanted to play an orc. I'm happy that this has now been brought into the core book, because in reality, like, lore aside, the only reason you had a half orc in the game is because you wanted to play an orc. I'm seeing the Elvis movie tonight with my aunt. Well, have fun watching that movie. That movie does not appeal to me, but I hope you enjoy it. Last night, what did I end up watching? I forgot. What did I end up watching? I know that me and my fiance have been watching She-Hulk a lot, and we're enjoying that one. It's fun. It's a different feeling to the MCU and approaching it in a different way. And then, dang, I can't remember what we were watching. I'll think what I ended up watching last night. We've been also watching, like, on Twitch. There's a channel called Tonkatsu Shoutsu, and pretty much they just stream subbed Ultraman, Super Sentai Power Ranger, and Kamen Rider. So the other night we were watching that. We were watching Kamen Rider Kuga. And I think last night I was catching a little bit of it. And they were streaming what would have been Power Rangers Zeo here in the States, but the Japanese version, which was O-Ranger. Now, we didn't end up watching a new Lord of the Rings. And I'm trying to remember what we watched, but I'm drawing a blank. Oh, we watched Ghostbusters last night. We watched the first one. Yeah. I'm glad that orcs are being made into this. Okay. Satisfied. Boom, boom, boom. All the Willy presents. Boom. I want to see more encouragement for players and DMs to take on aspects to Was it my first time seeing Ghostbusters? No. We've seen it many times. It's just been a while since I've seen Ghostbusters. But yeah, we're watching it, and since we've seen it so many times, it was really just us trying to figure out how they did some of the special effects without Googling it. So we spent a lot of time doing that as we were watching it. And then me sitting there realizing like how much high production the actual Ghostbusters movie had. There's a lot of puppets and being used, so that costs money. But yeah, it's Ghostbusters, man. Can't complain about it. Good. I actually haven't seen that one, not because I'm like, I don't want to. Oh, oops. I haven't seen it, not because I'm like, I don't want to see the women Ghostbusters. I just haven't actually sat down and watched it. I haven't seen that one or the new one. The was it Rebirth or something like that? Just really haven't sat down to watch them. I'll get to them eventually, though. How satisfied were you overall with the character background section? Very satisfied. Ability scores, yes. Skill proficiencies, yes, 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 yes. One thing I'm really looking forward to with the introduction of like level 1 feats and having like feats gate lock at specific levels is that instead of creating additional backgrounds now for like setting books, they can introduce a feat that conveys the feeling of that culture or that faction or something. For example, we did Strixhaven. Obviously, they introduced those feats as level 1 feats that you take in the background. Instead of having like a whole background dedicated to it, you just have the feat, and then you have access to certain level spells. It pretty much is like a copy paste of Magic Initiate, and just but having a lore hold spell list and stuff. Or say we're gonna go back to Ravnica, how they had a background for each guild. Instead, they could have a feat that does that instead. So they could have like the Boros Legionnaire feat, and what it does, it gives you access to Boros spells, so that even if you're going to play a martial option, you still have access to spells similar to Magic Initiate. And that's the cool thing too about the changes to what they're going to do with like these additional spell lists. That they have the Arcane, Primal, and Divine spell lists that are going to work in conjunction with like the class spell list. I haven't placed it in any of these. They're fine, but I'm not going to use them. It should just remain as examples. For the Ghostbusters, Luke, probably not. Probably not. I don't know. Like, I think right now, like the big thing we're watching is She-Hulk, and then Andor comes out at the end of the month. So we're probably gonna be sticking with that in between, like, you know, working on content. Right now, obviously, I'm focusing a lot more on shorts. I plan on doing some, like, bring back some long form stuff. I do want to take a look at like subclasses that I haven't done videos on. I'm just trying to also figure out different content to do to encourage more character ideas. Also, that's really like the big thing for me. That's why I do character builds in the first place. It's not so much that they give you guys like a cookie cutter build or anything. It's more so, here's a general idea of what I think or how I would approach playing this, and then you guys just run with it and change it and manipulate it and or discard it however you want. Do you use feats when playing? Always. Which feats have you place tested? I haven't placed any of these feats. How satisfied are you with the feats? Alert. Ooh, alert is okay. We got some feelings. Alert. Alert, crafter. Oh, crafter. Dissatisfied. Alert. Satisfied. Healer. Okay. Lucky. Fixed. Magic Initiate. Fixed. Musician. I like. Savage Attacker is okay, but it's boring. Skilled. Great. Tavern Brawler, I'm mixed on. Tough is fine. Okay. Tough is fine. Tavern Brawler. Tavern Brawler, I'm not too sure on. This is the one I need to really see and play with the new unarmed strike rules. Alert. Okay. The main ones I want to point out. Crafter. Yeah, Crafter is one of those ones that the extra tool proficiency is great, but the two other traits on there were just makes it faster and cheaper for you to make items. Without a proper crafting system, like the 20% knockoff on stuff, doesn't matter. Like you need a proper crafting system. And then what was the other one that was like, nah? It's really it. All the other ones I'm fine with. I like the fact that Lucky fixes the super advantage problem. But Lucky needs clarity. That's what it needs. It needs some clarity on when you're an opposed advantage. Savage Attacker is a good way to make sure that a PC never rolls minimum damage, but advantage on damage rolls is not nearly as potent as D20 advantage. Yeah. And that's why, like, I don't have a problem with Savage Attacker. I think there should be some sort of, like, if you want to play the aggro character, or like the character is just towards hitting stuff, there's always going to be that option that appeals to that. Savage Attacker does that, and you just make a baseline of just a standard baseline, keep your average damage up. Cool. Tough is going to be in the same vein. It's very, very straightforward. You get more HP. Skilled is also, I consider that like just standard baseline. They're good, or they're just okay. They're decent, and skill, getting more skills is always like a good thing too. But the ones that really stand out to me, obviously Magic Initiate, because it's Magic Initiate. Lucky, but Lucky being changed, it's good. Alert is the one I think people are going to sleep on, because the fact that this new version allows you to kind of manipulate the initiative order, and you can trade places with people, adds a lot more tacticality to combat than what people realize. But it's also going to highly depend on how much combat your table's going to do. And it's only on initiative. It doesn't do, and then, yeah. So like, there's a lot of. This is gonna be as powerful as your table allows it to be. So this one's gonna be either a super sleeper, or it's gonna be frustrating. So This one is one of the ones I want to test out in actual play to just see. My table does at least one combat minimum a session, because we play for 3 to 4 hours. Crafter needs some rules to hold on to it. Lucky just needs some clarity on the rules. Tavern Brawler, I need to see in action before I have like an actual comment on it. Okay, how satisfied are you with the elements of the rules glossary? D20 test. Satisfied. I'm not sure about D20 tests, really. I think they're just kind of renaming the checks. Oh my god, yes. Unarmed strikes. Okay, so actually I'm satisfied with the inspiration. Okay, so unarmed strikes, I'm super excited at how they got changed. So now that it includes grappling and shove, this is going to be great for the monk. It changes pretty much what the monk options are, as long as we're kind of seeing how it is. Am I looking forward to having to update the Luchador when OneD&D comes out? No, but does this make it easier to work on it? Yeah. So yeah, it changes a lot. Unarmed strike is probably one of my favorite changes, just because specifically I've been working with grappling and shoving mechanics a lot. So I'm liking the change to unarmed strike. Monk is one of my favorite classes, despite the greater community thinking or feeling that it's a crappy class. But the monk has a spot in my heart. So yeah, I'm looking forward to unarmed strike. D20 test, the thing that it functions as it was, it's just a name change. And I think they're just shuffling all the pretty much D20 rolls into one thing. So it's ability checks, right? Ability checks, saving throws, and attack rolls. They're just calling it a new thing. It feels weird to say it, but it doesn't really change anything. Other than that, like I don't have... I'm really liking how inspiration has more ways to be offered, because at least in terms of personal experience, my play table forgets inspiration to give it out. I like the idea of replacing difficult terrain with slowed conditions, since the latter is easier to use for visual impaired players as well as tables who use theater of the mind. Yeah, but it's also just easy, like in general, it's easier to convey, right? It's just easier to say, yep, you're slowed, instead of saying, oh, this is difficult terrain, because difficult terrain can mean a lot of different things, and you're just like, oh, now you're under the slow condition, you're slowed. It does call on like gamey aspects, like it reminds me of Final Fantasy, but I'm okay with that. It's fine. I'm like, yeah, I'm just, in general, I'm liking the proposed changes. Other one, I'm gonna say inspiration being given out. I think my biggest dink on inspiration is that when you roll a d20, you get one. I think I'm of the same mind that Indestructible Terran said, that just getting it on a failure to have some sort of comeback mechanic is probably a better idea. And I agree with that, because getting an inspiration for rolling a d20 or rolling a natural 20 does have this win more feeling to it. And just having it that you roll a nat 1, but you get an advantage on your next roll, it's more of a feel-good thing. It lessens the pain of having to of rolling terrible. Very satisfying. Oh, I should have saved it for this. Benefits of a rest, satisfied, interrupting rest. Nothing really. Okay. Oh. Boom, boom. There we go. Just the basic statistics. Let's submit. And there we go. I recommend you guys do this too. Give feedback, constructive feedback. Be as clear and direct as possible because you don't have a lot of characters you can use. So, but avoid the vitriol and there's people that are saying when they're filling out the survey, they're just saying, well, so and so does it better or this does it better. That doesn't help when you're looking at if you're trying to provide actual feedback. I don't know how they're actually parsing through the information when they look at the feedback, to be honest. But if they actually are reading your statements, do provide actual constructive criticism. Just don't say my favorite homebrewer does this better. My favorite YouTuber is doing this better, or this other product is better than yours. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't help. That kind of crap doesn't help provide actual feedback. And because especially if they are reading stuff and you have really thought out constructive criticism that is very direct, that's going to be a lot more beneficial for them to kind of really guide the game to a place where majority of people are happy with it. A really common home rule is to let DM inspiration function as a reroll option, and that doesn't work as well if you get it from rolling a natural one. Still getting it on a 1 is a good idea. Yeah. I don't know. Inspiration's on a weird part. I think a lot of us in the live stream we did with Wally, me, Jordan, Wally, all agreed that we kind of like these changes, but we want inspiration to do more or allow the DM to provide different options for it. At least guide them to use it more. Because inspiration is a cool mechanic. It's a cool idea. But yeah, a lot of people just forget about it. So who knows? So yeah, I recommend everybody just take the survey. I'm looking forward to what else is coming up. I want to see class changes. I really want to see what they're going to be doing with the classes, because I think that's where we're really gonna see if it truly is a new edition, or we're gonna get, or how much they're willing to change the classes to make them feel better or play a certain way. I'm surprised by the number of changes already in this first update, but the one thing I'm noticing, it doesn't drastically change how the game really functions at a base level. The new background changes still operate and function within the core base rules of how you create a character. Really nothing changes. Okay, you're picking your options now, but it doesn't really change or interact in a way that makes the game work differently. You're still picking the same stuff, but in a different way. So it feels different, but it necessarily isn't different. So that's why the classes I'm going to see, that's where the biggest change is going to be. And then how much they're going to move away from short rest. But I think the big people's eyes are really looking at or how much are they going to change Monk? How much are they going to fix it? I don't think they're going to go as far as changing the level progressions for classes. I think a lot of that stuff is kind of set in stone if they're with the intention of going backwards compatible. Because if they don't and they really change how classes operate and are getting their features, then you lose the idea of being backwards compatible. And then they're going to have to re-release updated classes for when we should at this point be exploring new narrative ideas and new subclasses instead of just repackaging old ones just to fit that update. I do expect core subclasses from the PHP to get updated to fit more in line with Tasha's and Xanathar's, because we're kind of seeing a lot of that change. I'm very much surprised at the proposed changes. That I think they might just push ideas out just to see how much they can push the system. And obviously, there's going to be a lot of recoil with that. All right, so we're gonna jump into Luchador now. Okay, so I got to playtest. Had a buddy of mine playtest. I DM'd a one shot for Spelljammer about a week ago, and we got to see the Luchador in action. And I am pleasantly surprised at how well it played. I cannot complain. It played really, really well. I'm gonna pull up some of my notes that I had with it. So, what we figured out was that Luchador die accumulation, which we used to call momentum, it was easy to track. That was like my biggest concern, is that the more things you're doing, you actually get dice. And it was easy to keep track of. So players didn't feel overwhelmed of like they were kind of like having to track a bunch of d6. PhDD, what do you think of letting PCs attempt a skill check when the task is impossible? The update recommends just saying it's impossible, prohibiting the roll, but I like PCs discovering impossibilities. Pretty much my rule of thumb in general when it comes to any sort of skill check, if you do not intend to have the PCs roll for something, don't let them roll for it. And if you want them to do it, then you're going to allow them to roll for it. I think the biggest change is with the natural 20s just always winning is what's going to cause the biggest thing, and that you're going to see a lot more arguments for people when it comes to rules lawyers and rules in general, really trying to argue that they should be able to roll for everything, and if they get a natural 20, they automatically succeed. I think if they're going to keep this rule, because I think that's the biggest point of contention, how that will play out, they need to give DMs better guidelines and better tools and better ways to inform them when they should allow players to roll. Do I think that will happen? No. I think there's going to be much more of a backlash, or at least a negative response to the D20 natural 20 always winning and natural ones always failing on everything, that they're probably not going to go through with it. I'd be very surprised if they did that. But yeah, for me, it's like, if you have no intentions of allowing the player to roll because it's supposed to be impossible, then don't even mention it in a way that they would want to roll for it. Or you could just quickly say common sense thing, like, say, hypothetically, there's a super lock or whatever on this door, and the rogue wants to pick it. You can have it and just give them the information freely. Like, the rogue is used to looking at locks and looking at the properties of it, and they know for offhand that this is impossible for them. That without they get a sense that without something magical intervention or some other way, that they themselves know that they can't do that. And giving them extra information like that kind of softens the blow, so that, one, you're not wasting time rolling dice, but also lets them play into the character more, being knowledgeable of certain things, and also for them to start thinking in a different way to problem solve. I think that's another way to do that, is still give them information, them not having to roll, but also point them in a different direction to help them solve whatever situation that comes across. See, I don't think there's anything wrong, though, with allowing them to roll to see if they can discover impossibilities too, because that's another tool to kind of teach them. Also, in the same way that I'm saying is like, oh yeah, they're able to, even if they get the natural 20, you can even say they don't unlock it, but they know, based off their own prior knowledge, they know what does. They don't have the tools or the skills to do it. Yeah, and that's another way too. If a PC has to do something that's impossible, you often say, yeah, and that's another way to go about it too. That's how, for me, it's like there's really no wrong way to do it. But I think the one that always feels bad as a player is that, no, you just can't do it, and that's, as as a DM, I tried to not do that. And I think a lot of like other DMs that have experienced that stuff when they're on the player side too don't try to do that either. They really try to lead the players in a certain direction or allow them to try. It's the yes and rule. All right. Oh, so what I was saying with the luchador. Let's see. So, luchador are easy to track. It was my biggest concern. Is this combo gaining momentum feeling mechanic going to play well in 5th edition? Is it going to be something that feels good, but also is easy to track? Because most resource management features, what ends up tends to happening is they're static. You have a set amount from the get-go, and then you spend them as you go. And this one isn't that way. This is very much a tracking feature that whenever you hit somebody with an unarmed strike, you grapple somebody, or you shove them, you're gaining dice. And then you end up using those dice on your signature moves. So that it's like this up and down, spend a lot, and then build up, spend, build up, spend. And we found out, at least in terms of gaining them, it was easy to track. So that was a big win in my book, a really big relief. The big idea behind that is to create some sort of combo feeling feature, this building of momentum. It was very inspired by fighting games, the specials bar that builds up. Also, World of Warcraft, the combo system they have for the rogues, specifically in that one, where every attack you do, you build up points and then you spend it. So it was like a combination of those two things. I was like, man, that would really be a sick way to feel like you're building momentum as some sort of martial class. So that's how that goes. One thing though, it was a failure on my part in designing signature moves. There wasn't, at least in the loadout that we had for the available ones, the way that these were worded, my player at the time did not have enough to spend everything on. So he did have an accumulation of luchador that he wasn't able to kind of like continually spend because of the situation he put his character in, where he did his thing of like locking down one person, keeping them put, but he wasn't able to constantly spend on them to keep wailing and beating them up. So the biggest thing is I needed to change some so that there were shove conditions that didn't care whether you were grappled or not. So I did change a couple of them, and I'm going to work on some more today. But also we found out that when you're doing grapples, some of these holds that he wanted to do, I had them coded in a way that you had to grapple them to do it, and not that if you already were grappling that you can do them. So right now I've changed sleeper hold. Bear hug is still the same, but full Nelson and sleeper hold, I changed them so that as long as you're grappling them, you can do an unarmed strike to do more damage. So to do those moves, while armbar, leg lock stay the same, because those are, you're grappling a prone creature to do those moves. Like it's just a straight up initiation. And bear hug is one of those that, yeah, you're we're testing out a different way to do it. This is when you successfully grapple a creature that is standing as a part of your attack action, you may expend 3 luchador. So we're going to test that. Part of the thing too, this was probably going to get reworded, bear hug specifically, because I want this to work and be coded in such a way that this still builds momentum. As long as you're continually attempting to do stuff, you're building it. So yes, you gain 1 momentum, but you lose 2 luchador. So it becomes out like you're actually only doing spending 2 here. We're gonna see. Bear hug is gonna be one of the interesting ones if they do play it. We're gonna see how it goes, because there's a potential balancing measure just to see how much damage they can do in a turn, that I'm kind of trying to balance. That I may just code all signature moves to take a part of your attack action. So we'll see. right now the whole idea is to allow them to. Hold on, yeah. We're gonna do 3. Right now, the general idea for signature moves right now is to ensure that they allow you to kind of do this very combo centered, like constantly grab, grapple, shove mechanic that you see like in Tekken. King is this way, where he can do a combo that can that starts off with like a grab midair into a slam into a hold. And we want I want players to be able to feel like they're doing that. Other changes, another feedback before I start getting into some design. Oh yeah, or other than that, yeah, we're just keeping an eye on damage output. It surprised me how much damage the player was able to put out because we're using a lot of D6s, but they never outshined a sharpshooter ranger who was way more consistent in doing a lot of damage, and the luchador was doing a lot of just small burst damage when he was able to pull off those signature moves. So yeah, so just something I got to keep in mind with that. Other than that, like I'm liking how this is playing. It feels fun, feels good. All right, so other changes. Mask of the People's Champ is now named Mask of the Molero. Molero is a slang for wrestlers that go out and do free shows for people, and they're paid in food, and they're pretty much like, it's another way to say that yeah, you are a wrestler of the people. And Molero is because they are a lot of these places will feed the mole. So yeah, it's pretty much straightforward. Other than that, what else have I worked on? Last night we worked on some stuff. Again with signature moves. I think right now my head's gonna be working on signature moves. I'm attempting to try and do subclasses. I know I've added one more on, but now that I'm thinking about it, I may not implement it, or at least find another fantasy around it. So this is Mask of the Twin Soul. This is going to be, I want it to be based around tag team fighting. That might not be the case. We'll see how that goes. Okay, so yeah, so what we're seeing, Mask of the Feathered Serpent, this did get right now we're testing out some subclass features. They actually got some stuff. We got Skydive, so this gives you the Hurricane Rana, but also allows you to reduce the cost of lucha dice spent to perform your next signature move for every 10 feet you fell. So what we want to do is like encourage a high flyer playstyle. You jump off stuff, or you jump to try to do moves and stuff. And then Wind Stride is going to allow you to do this. So they don't get any additional proficiencies. Instead, they get this ability that allows them to dash as a bonus action. And then while they're dashing as a bonus action, they get a bunch of feature upgrades. So what happens is their jump distance is doubled. They don't take falling damage from falling under 20 feet, unless they're incapacitated. And they don't provoke attacks of opportunity. So pretty much it's like this whirlwind that surrounds them. And they're able to kind of move faster and kind of allow them to do what they do. And jump around and be quick and stuff. So we're going to play with that. I don't know if one of my players is going to be trying that one out. It's not in the playtest document. My plan is to actually update the playtest document today with adding Mask of the Feathered Serpent in there. I'm still stuck on Grave Titan because I really want this feeling of undead, and I think I'm thinking too hard on it. So, but this one's all about power. Okay, and then Then we got Tooth and Claw, which is our animal one. And this one's the one that's a little bit more fleshed out, that actually just needs its last 3 features. And it's actually good to go. Mask of the Feathered Serpent needs 3 more features also. And Molero has the last 3 features too. So yeah, we're almost there. Like, as soon as I kind of get these done and a little bit tested, it's going up on the DMs Guild for people to enjoy. So yeah, so where we're at right now is Powerbomb. I'm gonna open up a separate window for this. Oh, I haven't actually checked out MC DM's Beast Heart class. It's not that I don't trust the design. I just I've heard mixed bag with Illrigger, but Beast Heart, the aesthetic does not appeal to me. But I get why it would appeal to some people. It has that He-Man, Kazar sort of feel, where you have that beast and you're also like some sort of like, not a barbarian, but like this very fantasy action hero, Conan-esque character alongside it. So I get why people like it, but when I think of like a pet center class, that's not the first thing that comes to mind. I should check them out though, because maybe my group would do it. But yeah, I'm glad you think these are going to be fun. What I want to look at right now, I'm going to pull up D&D Beyond. I want to look at Fighter, the Battle Master, and then I also want to look at Bard's Sword, College of Swords, because I wanted to see how they implement their maneuvers with the flourishes. I want to look at flourishes because I'm struggling with Powerbomb in terms of like hitting a certain ability with it. Okay. Powerbomb, when people perform this, it's obviously they're just lifting them up in the air and they're slamming them to the ground. It's just like a basic prone maneuver. Oh, that's sick. Okay, I'm maybe, yeah. Beast Heart. I definitely need to check that out then. I want to see how they pulled it off. I want to see how they pulled it off and how they worded it, because that's like the big thing for me. Like, how did they word the idea, and the way that they spend it. And the way that it's spent, I want to know, like, if it's just additional damage or it's just like it's several options they can choose from. That's that. These cards: supernatural bond, cannon, natural, primal exploit, superior ferocity. Okay, yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to check this out. I want to see how they have that build-up mechanic. Interesting. Okay, so you guys can see this. So what I want to know is, I want to see if we can find a different way to provide an extra little trait for Powerbomb. Simply because I don't know if it's going to be a mobility thing, because most of the time somebody gets powerbomb, they're not standing back up for a bit. So I'm wondering if maybe just a simple, they can't stand up until they'll turn after. You know, they stay prone. So defensive flourish, slashing. Yeah, okay. Let's see. Disarming, fainting, goading, grappling, lunging, maneuvering, menacing, pushing, precision, parry, quick toss, repose, tactical assessment, trip attack. One thing I always like to look at too is magical effects. Because DDT, I know what I want for DDT. Maybe I should just start off with that. DDT, because we don't have a lot of signature moves actually right anymore. So we're actually pretty good. Okay, DDT is... Okay. This one I want disadvantage on constitution checks on the following turn after it gets performed. When you successfully shove a standing creature prone, you pull it to the floor. Pull it to the ground. Pull it to the ground. This is gonna be a 3-er. Has disadvantage on constitution checks. Our next turn. Yeah. Boom. Just also prone. I need to pull up here on the side really quick. See how DDT's done. Oops. Okay. Yeah, I would say you get knocked prone. Pain to get up. Yep. Okay, cool. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that one. I'm very, very okay with that one. Cool, cool, cool. All right. DDT, Senton. So Senton and Frog Splash are going to be very, very different. I think they're going to be like similar in the fact that you have to maybe run or just a splash. Okay. Actually, give me a sec, guys. I'm gonna go. I need to run to the. Alrighty. Let's do this. Okay. Okay. Get into this now. Okay. So Frog Splash and Senton. We got to differentiate these two. I want Frog Splash to kind of be like your a bread and butter high flying attack. I want it to be very, very simple because it doesn't do much. But I want to see drop kick. Oh, when you're attacking a standing creature with an unarmed, oh no, not drop kick. I want a leg drop. So leg drop. When you successfully attack a creature that is prone with an unarmed strike, you can spend 2 Lucha dice, and if the attack hits, add the Lucha die to the attack's damage roll. The next attack roll made by the target has disadvantage until the start of your next turn. Okay, yeah, because you're dropping leg dropping on their neck. Elbow drop is like right on their body, right? Oh, never mind. Leg drop is on their body. Elbow drop is like right on the neck. So Frog Splash is like right across the body, but I want it to be like a bread and butter feature. Just trying to see if we can look at other features that kind of do certain things. Okay, I don't think there's really anything. Yeah, I don't really see anything. Maybe we can like pull from another class. Maybe we should just look at some definitely gonna look at some spells. Look at some cantrips and seeing what kind of effects they have there that reflect hitting across the body. I think that's another way to kind of look. Okay, chill touch doesn't let them heal, right? They can't regain hit points. Okay, we don't get anything like that. Control flames. Honestly, not yet. I do have an idea for a subclass that's dedicated to doing tag team, because you're not the first one to bring it up. But I do think the idea behind where's my subclasses? Mask of the Twin Souls, or the Twin Soul, is gonna be the idea I'm kind of like formulating in my head right now is that this subclass is gonna be dedicated to tag teaming. But I need them to be able to do it even if they're not around an ally. So they're gonna have. I'm intending for them to have features whenever they're holding or grappling a creature, that whoever's attacking them has an advantage or they get benefits for beating the hell out of who they're holding. But then also maybe have a twin similar to the Echo Knight, but probably not as busted. Not allowing them to teleport and stuff, but they have like an echo that they could control, that they can use and do their tag team stuff with also, so that they can still facilitate their own features and their own abilities without an ally. I think the closest thing to like doing that solo is going to be Mask of the Molero, because it's whenever they do whenever they do signature moves, they're going to trigger effects that help everybody else around them. So they have a ability Shock and Awe. With Shock, they could cause everybody around the enemy to get frightened, and then Awe, any ally they can choose around them can get some temporary HP and advantage on being frightened on the next turn. So that's like the closest thing I'm having to that. Mask of the Mulatto is like gonna be like the all-around basic good luchador. So that's why I'm still trying to figure out like the final features to make it feel like, yeah, they're the well-rounded one. I might throw in maybe something for a high flying too, so they're kind of well-rounded. Yeah. Okay. To DDT Powerbomb. Ooh, I'd like to see that. That'd be sick. Yeah, and actually, I agree with that. I really wish there was more like team up mechanics at all in the game, because that'd be actually pretty sick. Oh, thanks. Yeah. Honestly, I want to play my own subclass, not because I think it's good, because it's like the way I'm approaching is like I'm designing something that I would have fun to play at the same time. And so like that for me, it's like, man, I like playing martial classes. I prefer to play martial classes in general. Obviously, with spells, they give you more utility, so I tend to play a lot of Yishes simply for that. But a good martial that doesn't have to use magic, I freaking enjoy. Okay, sick. I'll definitely go check that out. Copy paste this one. Cool. I will definitely check it out. Definitely will check it out. Might spur some ideas to keep it off the side. Okay, so what I'm trying to do, what we're trying to figure out for Senton and Rock Splash, pretty much I want them to be similar enough, but you get a different effect. I don't want any of the signature moves to kind of have like not have an effect on them too. Like that's the whole point. I'm trying to figure out Chill Touch. I like the idea of hitting something and not allowing them to get hit or gain hit points, so I'm gonna copy paste that, but this is gonna be I want to use this for subclass. Brave Titan being this sort of guardian for between life and death. What? Actually, you know what? Boom, boom, boom. Okay, that paste that. There we go. Can't regain hit points. Dancing lights. Let's see. Firebolt friends. Frostbite. What is frostbite? Oh, next weapon attack roll. Okay, no, that doesn't fit with it. Yeah, and I like looking at these features. Okay, this broke. Yeah, no. I want to see what like. I like looking at cantrips just for like little extra stuff, because I always have like these little riders. Ooh, dang. Okay, that's cool. Mold earth, poison spray, prestidigitation. Because the difference between frog splash and a senton is literally how you're landing on a person. So senton is like you're flipping and you're landing on your back to kind of body splash them, and frog splash, well, it's you're landing stomach to stomach. So I'm making it so that senton costs more, but you're not prone because you kind of like land on them and you flip up. And that's probably all that one's gonna be. Like you're spending more to do more damage, but also you don't have the actually that's all senton's gonna be, now that I think about it. That's good enough for me, like to make it so that yeah. Hold on. Pretty much all this one's gonna be senton. When you successfully attack a creature that is prone with an unarmed strike, you can expend 3 lucha die, and if the attack hits, add the lucha die to the attack's roll. Attack's roll. Trying to word this in a way because there's no indication that with the way this is worded that you're going to be knocked prone. So maybe instead of saying that you're not knocked prone, you get a benefit for maybe standing up for prone only costs 5 foot of movement until the end of the turn. We can do something like that. I just want to make sure I don't have that feature somewhere else kind of tucked away in here. Okay, standing up for opponent only costs you 5 feet of movement. Yeah, it's already in high flyer. We can't have that. So maybe thinking, yeah, I'm trying to think, oh yeah, that would have been good, but when you successfully attack a creature that is prone with an unarmed strike, I don't want... Okay, these are going to have different mechanics. I want them to really feel like high-flying maneuvers. Oh, and Moonsault needs to get fixed too. Okay, so Centon. Maybe we should change. I think it's something like this. Let's take this. We jump before successfully two lucha dice. You're gonna spend two lucha dice. Add the lucha die. You jump. Oops, not what I wanted. Okay. If you jump before successfully attacking a creature that is prone with an unarmed strike, you can spend two lucha die. To the attacks damage roll. Attacks damage roll. Ooh. Okay. Maybe add a little conditional thing. If you jump before successfully attacking a creature that is prone with an unarmed strike, you can deal two lucha dice damage and add the lucha dice to the attack damage roll. If oh, where's the other one? Pretty much if like you jump more than 10 feet, I'm thinking actually, oh. Hold on now. I'll do that for Centon. Arm strike. Let's see. when you land and do a frog splash to somebody, you're pretty much grappling them. If you jump before successfully attacking a creature that is prone with an unarmed strike, you can expend 2 lucha die and add the lucha dice to attack demos. You are... trying to think. I want to say you're grappling the creature after this. If you jump before successfully attacking a creature that is prone with an unarmed strike, you can spend 2 lucha die and add the lucha die to the damage rolls. You are... creature. Trying to... I do need to look up... let's see. Prone. Let's look up prone, just to make sure. Prone creature only movement is to crawl unless it stands up in the condition. Okay, cool. All right. Doesn't impose anything different. If you jump before successfully attacking a creature that is prone with an unarmed strike, you can expend 2 lucha die and add that you are prone and grappling the creature. Very simple. Rock splash them. And then it's like you're pinning them. I wonder if we can get like a pin mechanic that automatically just takes them out. Oh, that'd be okay. Maybe okay, I haven't. I'm just gonna write this down for like their ultimate move. Pin to win feature. They die. General idea, pin to win feature, something like that. Like you're pinning them, and then over time, when you successfully attack a creature, over time, like having to maintain pretty much 3 seconds. You can't do it for 3 rounds, but something to that extent where you pin them. It's probably going to be a saving throw or something like that. That's what I'm thinking. They're gonna have to make a Constitution saving throw or something, and if the creature fails, and as long as they have half their hit points, they're done. Yeah, so I'm thinking something like that. It has to be. Yeah, I want it to. It fits totally with that one because you're trying to win, right? Just automatically just knock that guy out. That'll be like their finisher. Maybe you hold a grapple for 2 consecutive turns. Yeah. the end of your second turn, as a bonus action, you can give the grappled creature the unconscious condition. It's gonna be something like that. Yeah, I think. Yeah, definitely want it to feel like they're holding. The thing is, it's 3 seconds. Each turn is 6 seconds, so we may be able to get away with it only lasting that one turn and having to do a Constitution check. It's just we need to set up the parameters of like, okay, when they do this feature. Okay. All right, signature move, leg lock. Okay. Karana. If you jump before successfully attacking a creature that is prone with an unarmed strike, you can attempt to do 2 lucha add to that. You're prone and grappling the creature. Simple basic. Senton, when you successfully attack a creature that is prone with an unarmed strike, you can expend 3 lucha die, and if the attack hits, add the lucha die to the action. If you fell 10 feet or more, the attack deals additional damage equal to your charisma modifier. Actually, we're gonna change this though. If you jump before attacking a creature that is prone, with an unarmed strike, you can expend 2 lucha dice and add the lucha die to attack roll. Strike. Dice. Attack. It's successful. We'll add the lucha dice. I cannot spell to attack's damage roll. Successful. Add the lucha die to attack's damage roll. You are prone and grappling the creature. This is you are knocked prone. You're knocked prone and go to the roll the lucha dice. Boom. When you successfully attack a creature, with an unarmed strike, you can expend 3 lucha dice and attack hits. If you fail more than 10 feet, just a straight up damage. But if you miss, cool. There we go. Frog Splash is pretty much straightforward. It's kind of your bread and butter. You're going to be knocked prone, but you're, excuse me, if the attack misses. Senton is a little more flashy. You're not grappling them, but you're doing more, like, you have the potential to do a little bit more damage. So that's really the trade-off. You can sit there, grapple him. Frog Splash, I think, is more like a setup move. Yeah, I see. Yeah, I'm trying to see what can I do. Yeah, Frog Splash is gonna be more of a setup move. Like, say you're attacking a grappled person, you could you're attacking and you grapple them at the bottom, like when they're on the floor. You could set it up, since you're already grappling them, you can set it up for something else. I'm just trying to see for what. I might have to like reword leg lock and armbar. I need it. See, if we had the new unarmed strike rules, I can say when you make an unarmed strike that grapples, or when you make an unarmed strike and then do this. Trying to think, when you grapple a prone creature, okay. I'm trying to word this in a way. When you successfully unarmed strike against a creature you're grappling. Let's see, that's. I want to see how these play out a little bit more, because I have a feeling. Because some of these chokeholds are really hard to do. Some of these chokehold features are really hard to do when the initiation is to actually grapple them, but it makes a lot of sense flavor-wise why that happens. And I could potentially change it, but I think it's a little. When you make a success, or so when you. When you make a successful unarmed strike against a creature you're grappling, but a full Nelson isn't necessarily you're beating them up. That's why I'm trying to figure out this. So how it works with Frog Splash, because this works with Frog Splash as is, but flavor wise, I think it's a fail because you're making an unarmed strike against a creature. You're hitting them to do this, and that's not how it is. And it's going to do additional damage. So part of it's like when you successfully grapple a creature. Yeah, I'm looking at some issues now. Spotting some stuff immediately. So some of these are based off like a trigger. So when you attempt to grapple a creature, you may expend 3 lucha die. Da, 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 da. So features that automatically trigger a grapple, based off how I'm reading it, will give you a free attempt to do a signature move, which is not my intention. We're trying to balance this against being able to... Yeah, we're trying to balance this against being able to... I don't know. We're trying to balance signature moves. I'm trying to balance them with the action economy. You're only allowed to do so many based on how pretty much your attack action and your bonus action. So with the potential of only doing up to 3 on a turn if the conditions are correct. You can and you have enough lucha die. But the way some of this is worded and coded, when you successfully make an unarmed strike against a creature, that's fine, but knocking people prone, multiple people prone, moonsault, DDT is fine. Powerbomb, we'll fix it right now, or work on it right now. Choke slam is fine. Suplex is fine. You successfully grapple a prone creature. Okay. The attack is successful and add the lucha die and you're prone. Hold on, let me see. Because this sounds a little too close to something. See, yeah. Oh, wait. Oh no, that works. That actually works. If you jump before attacking a creature that is prone with an unarmed strike, you can expend. I'm okay with. All right. The only okay. I am having issues with how the grabs or the holds are going to work because they require you to use them as initiations for grappling. But armbar. So yeah. So I think those are the ones we're gonna have to keep an eye on for now. Going to have to keep an eye on for now. Okay. We'll see how they play out. Anyway, if you jump before attacking a creature that is prone with an unarmed strike, you can expend 2 lucha die. If the attack is successful, add the lucha die to the attack's damage roll, and you're prone. If you do not proc. I don't know how I feel about that. Maybe. Might have to pull up some WWE right now to kind of see the effects of it. This is kind of like just your basic. Okay. Looking at it. Okay, Frog Splash goes into a pin always. Always goes into a pin. So, since it always goes into a pin, yeah, we do need to consider that if it goes into a pin. If you jump in before attacking a creature that is prone, I don't mind this costing. What stuff actually costs like 2? Like clothesline, elbow drop, leg drop. Everything's starting to cost a little bit of 3. We'll play with the idea. I do want this to kind of be the basic one. Trying to think. It has to go into a pin. So no, this is. If you jump before attacking a creature with its prone with an unarmed strike, you can expend 2 lucha die. If the attack is successful, add the lucha dice to the attack's damage rolls, and you are prone. You're prone and grappling the creature if attacked. Okay, so we have to do that. We may have to reword some of these so they don't trigger off of it. Other ideas is to just simply give you advantage on grappling or shoving the creature, or on grappling the creature until the end of your next turn, instead of just auto grappling. That's maybe what I'm thinking too. Something like that. Add the lucha the next damage roll, and your opponent grappling the creature. Excuse me. Guiding bolt, maybe? Thinking this. Oops. Maybe something like this. The next attack roll made against this target before the end of your next turn has advantage. Something like that, maybe? I'm not sure. I don't know. It definitely needs to be a pin. That I'm thinking. Part of me wants to say like you can grapple the creature as a bonus action. When you attack a creature that is prone with an unarmed strike, you spend 3 Lucha die and if the attack hits, add. The attack hits. Add Lucha die to attack stem roll if you fell 10 feet or more. The attack deals additional damage equal to your charisma modifier. The attack misses, you're not prone. So Centon. Yeah. I'm like these being similar, Centon being the more damage oriented one. Frog Splash should be the more setup one. Oh, here we go. If you fell 10 feet or more, if you jump before attacking a creature that is prone with an unarmed strike, you can expend 3 Lucha die. If the attack is successful, add the Lucha die to your attack's damage roll. If you fell 10 feet or more, I'm just trying to make it so that it doesn't trigger. No. Oh. I'm wondering maybe restrained until the start of your next turn. Oh, paralyzed, invisible, incapacitated. Man, we need more conditions. Poison prone. Sorry. I'm deep in thought, guys. Sorry. Yeah. All right, I'm going to move on to another one before I think on this one. But definitely, if you fail more than 10 feet, I want you to get a bonus to the... I want it to be similar to Centon. I want us to be cheaper, though. I want Centon, like, you want a little bit more damage. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's happening over there. All right. Okay, so we need... Okay, so this one needs to get finished. I'm going to put this in a highlight. Hurricane Rana is fine. We got DDT. Okay, we need Power Bomb, and then we need Moonsault. I actually almost have all of these done. Moonsault. Okay, most of the time when I see people perform Moonsault, well, I've seen it in two ways. Moonsault. I've seen it off the top rope, like a very high flying move. But in Tekken, I've seen it like... He just does it from standing. Let's see what Moonsault. Okay, hold on. Okay, we do need to... Okay. Ooh, this is frustrating. Okay. Okay. So, it's looking like we got Centon, Frog Splash, and I'm wondering... Okay. I want this to Frog Splash, Senton, and Moonsault to kind of be like elevations. Moonsault requires a lot more. So this is how we're gonna do it. Yeah, tits. If you swim more than 10 feet, boom. You're getting incentivized to do extra stuff. But the way I see Moonsault, Senton, and Frog Splash. Frog Splash is like the basic. Your bread and butter. You shouldn't get any real bonuses. Just like simple flare move. Senton. I don't want this just to simply add. Here's my modifier. Want this to add a little bit more. Okay. So we're in a good spot though. Like this is. Kind of know exactly what this needs to do. So the way I see it is this: Frog Splash, Senton, and Moonsault are like an evolution of each other, but also are going to gear towards that high flyer playstyle. Moonsault will cost more but deal more damage if you can pull it off, and it should have a higher reward for doing so compared to Senton and Frog Splash. I'm just not sure exactly what yet, but I'm liking what they're supposed to do. Frog Splash is going to be the safest one to pull off. Because you're not doing as much acrobatics. Senton is pretty much a front flip landing on your back against them, and then Moonsault is a full-on flip. And then, yeah, that's going to do way more stuff. But I want you to be rewarded or at least trying to go high with them. And I'm not necessarily sure how to differentiate them. And that's part of the problem with wrestling moves too. Like a lot of them are just like you're gonna knock each other prone. You're gonna knock each other prone. But yeah, if I can figure out those three, power bomb is whenever you successfully shove a creature that you're grappling, you lift the body into the air to immediately slam them immediately slam them into the ground. Spin. Power bomb is going to be there's not necessarily an evolution of slam moves, and I'm thinking maybe that's an incorrect thing. Maybe powerbomb should be like the big slam move, while choke slam. Yeah, I'm gonna do something like that. I'm thinking something like that. Powerbomb is like the big one. And then one additional effect, they're prone. All right, give me a sec. I'm gonna need to mute myself really quick. Alrighty. Okay. I want an interesting condition. I'm trying to think what we can do, what we can tweak, what we can mess with in terms of conditions. When you're power bombing the hell out of somebody, like they're completely just prone on their back, they can't do anything. Like it's a part of me wants to make it so that like, they get exhausted. Can't do paralyzed. Those are knocked prone. They're already knocked prone. I'm wondering if maybe like, because that's a lot. When you successfully shove a creature that you're grappling, you can lift their body into the air, immediately slam it down to the ground. They're already going to do one saving throw for this. Well, an idea is like, okay, the creature is prone, and then they have they must make another saving throw. And if they fail, they become exhausted, or they gain 1 level of exhaustion. Because you're just knocking the living like shit out. Oh, hold on. I want to look at some spell lists, some level 1 spells. I want to see some level 1 spells for this. Or level 1 and level 2. Because I'm thinking here. Not here. Thinking, okay. They can't take reactions. That'll be another good one. Can't take reaction. Can't take reactions. One good idea. Like they're so out of it. Actually, that might be the good one. Catapult, Burning Hands, Chaos Bolt, Charm Person. I'm thinking Bane, some sort of Bane effect. Can't take reaction. Oh, you know what? Creature's prone and can't till the end of your next turn. Yeah, they're so knocked on their ass that yeah, that's it. Like they're struggling. You've pretty much exhausted them. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Powerbomb. Figured out. Yeah. That gives me kind of the feeling going for. Oh man. Okay. We can figure out Senton, Frog Splash, and Moonsault. And then we're kind of like good to go. Oh man, this is becoming a little frustrating. I might call it here though, just so I can get up and kind of like take a break and walk around a little bit. But we are in a good spot with this. I'm gonna be working on this a little bit more, and hopefully, because I really, as soon as I get these subclasses done, we're in a way better spot. We're in a way better spot. It just comes down to yeah, just trying to generate those ideas to really get the flavor of the subclasses. I'm still iffy on the tag team one, simply because I want to have a little bit more flavor and not just have it be as tag team the subclass. I want to have a little bit more oomph behind it. That's like if you see it with at least Grave Titan and Tooth and Claw, there's definitely there's the attempt of actually having some flavor behind it, with Moletto being the basic, and then Feathered Serpent also like being one with flavor. I want Mask of the Twin Soul or a tag team, a team-based one, maybe to have something a little extra. I'm gonna dive into some other luchadores and actually see like what kind of gimmicks and stuff they have and what kind of things they're taking on, because there's definitely room for a lot of different stuff. I can see an illusion-based one. Maybe I might go that route. That plays a little bit more of a face. Back in the day, one of the luchadores tag teams, like the most famous tag teams, I think it's the Shadow Brothers. I'm probably butchering it. Yeah, Shadow Brothers. It's actually I believe it was Black Shadow and Blue Demon. Trying to want to say that was the case, but yeah, they were called the Shadow Brothers. Yeah, Los Hermanos Shadow, which are the Shadow Brothers. And yeah, they were like a famous duo. It was Black Shadow and Blue Demon teamed up a lot together. So maybe an homage to that. So instead of Mask of the Twin Soul, something like Mask of Shadows or something like that, where you can actually it be in the same vein, but at least it has a little homage to these two luchadores that will constantly team up with each other, but then also maybe draw some inspiration from D&D itself and have it make as part of the Shadowfell, which is different from Grave Titan, who is about the undead. This one's more about shadows. we'll see. I'm gonna really look at other ideas. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it for me, at least streaming wise. Thank you guys for showing up and hanging out. I'm hoping to kind of get back into the regular swing of things of just streaming again, or at least try to do it weekly or at least bi-weekly. Right now you're seeing like a difference in content. I'm really focusing on shorts right now. I'm hoping to just get back into long form in a very, very soon. I really want to I really want to hone in on doing a little bit more like graphics intensive and not educational but informative videos that also can be a little bit more entertaining. Character builds themselves, they're informative, but I'm gonna like it's just I'm throwing a bunch of info at you guys. I think they'd feel and do better as shorts because I can give you the general idea of what to do, but not necessarily give you a step by step, and you get the general feeling and a idea I want you guys to go for, but also give you guys enough room to do what you want with it. All right, what's going on, Jordan? Yeah, so yeah, I don't. That's pretty much the approach right now. What I'm thinking. So as soon as I figure it out, we'll do it. But Luchador is shaping up. We're gonna do another test tonight. Two of my buddies are gonna play it for me. So we're gonna kind of work out some kinks again. Hopefully, I don't think next weekend I'll be able to stream. Maybe stream on Saturday. We'll see. If not, it'll be on a Sunday. And I know the following weekend, Saturdays will. I think the following Saturday I won't be able to stream, so we'll see how it is. Yeah, but again, thank you guys for all stopping by. Yeah, until next time, you guys take care and have a good one.